Hello everybody, welcome back to the Bad Bookers Wrestling Podcast. My name is Jack, and today we are reviewing NXT Takeover War Games 2. I only got one word for it, and that is wow. NXT Takeovers just seem to get better and better and better. And every time I'm like, it's not going to get better than the last one. And then it gets better than the last one. It's just... It blows my mind every single time how good NXT can be and how consistent they're performing, and like I said, it's mind-blowing. We had 4 scheduled matches and 5 matches happened. One's happened right at the start of the night. Matt Riddle came out, the King of Bros came out and called out Kassius Ohno. They were meant to have a match next week on next Wednesday on Takeover on NXT, but Matt was like, Matt Riddle was like, you know what, we'll have it now, shall we? Kassius Ohno came out and went, ref, you better ring that goddamn bell because we're gonna have a match right now. Both took their jackets off and whatnot. Matt Riddle with the bicycle knee. Matt Riddle beat Kassius Ohno in 7 seconds. That was an interesting high impact start tonight. It was like, wow, okay, that happened. Unbelievable. Right then, Matt Riddle's in NXT just beating Kassius Ohno in 7 seconds. Like, okay, what's gonna come next? What's happening next? Like, it was just mental. It was literally just a bicycle knee to the face, knocking Kassius Ohno out. Game over. 7 seconds. Mental. Moving on to the NXT Women's Championship. Shayna Baszler, the champion, versus the challenger, Kairi Sane, in a 2 out of 3 falls match. This was a really good and proper, well-planned match. Storyline based, it worked really, really well. And it flowed fantastically. The ending was done to perfection, in my opinion. But let's go through the match. We had the first 4 go to Shayna Baszler even. It very quick. I think it was about 5 minutes into the match. Basically, Kairi Sane was getting the upper hand, and what happens? The 2 other horsewomen came out. I forgot their names. I completely forgot their names. It's completely gone out of my head. But they came out. They attacked Kairi Sane when Shayna was distracting the ref, and Shayna put in the clutch, whatever a clutch is called. They've all got different names. I can't keep up with them all. Kairi Sane taps out fairly quickly, which is good. Makes the wrestler look smart, because 2 out of 3 falls, you don't want to be choked out on the first 4. Tap out as quick as possible, get the next 4. And that's what Kairi Sane did. She got the next 4. She big elbow onto the outside, onto all 3 of them, after a fantastic... Shayna Baszler went to do a suplex onto the apron, the hardest part of the ring, don't you know? But Kairi Sane turned it into an absolutely mad looking DDT. Then she hits the elbow from the top rope onto the outside, onto all 3 of the horsewomen, and threw Shayna Baszler into the ring. Another elbow, 1, 2, 3. That is now 1-1 in the match. The match is tied, and Kairi Sane just kept up with the momentum, kept piling elbows, high interceptors they call it. It's just spears, like 4 or 5 of those in a row, like just grinding Shayna Baszler down before the 2 horsewomen that came out to help Shayna started to get their way, started to distract Kairi a bit more, and started to beat her down when the ref wasn't looking and whatnot. But out come some help for Kairi Sane to fend off these horsewomen. Out came Dakota Kai, first of all. The 2 horsewomen were beating her up. Then out came Io Shirai, and she hit her glorious moonsault off the top rope onto Dakota Kai and the 2 horsewomen. And it looked beautiful. And then the camera panned back into the ring, and Kairi Sane was jumping from the top rope, trying to hit her elbow onto Shayna Baszler, but Shayna Baszler caught her She had her elbow up like that, and Shayna managed to catch her arm in the gap, roll her up for a 3 count. Shayna Baszler is still your NXT Women's Champion. It was a very well thought out match. It was a great, other than the squash match, it was a great opener to the night. Shayna Baszler won, which I think is fantastic. I love Shayna Baszler. I think she's really grown on me, especially since started doing this podcast. At the start, I was a bit iffy. I thought she was really green. I didn't know whether she'll go that far, but now, unbelievable. I think she's probably one of the best. She's one of my favourite women's wrestlers out there. I'll say that. I was going to say she's one of the best ever on NXT, but then, you know, there's been quite a lot of good female wrestlers on NXT. But she's probably out there one of my favourite wrestlers, women's wrestlers at the moment, which is fantastic. Good on her. Good on her. Next up, we had the grudge match between Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano. And in my opinion, match of the year. Match of the year by an absolute mile. What a match this was. They added the storyline. They added the, you know, the fact that they hate each other, and they proper played on the hatred between each other. They played on the mind games as well. Johnny Gargano went to do his DIY knee, and Aleister Black just sat there, you know, like he does cross-legged, and was just like, come on then, just do it. Just finish me off. What's his name? Gargano pulled his knee pads down, went for it, and Gargano and Aleister Black moved out the way. There was fantastic DDT spots from Gargano onto Aleister, one to the outside, he chucked him into the ring, then jumped over the top rope into the ring and hit him with another DDT. It was just mental, absolutely mental to keep up. The pace didn't slow at all. It was just a fast pace throughout. It was about a 25-minute match, I think. It was just constant pace, constant putting over how Johnny Gargano is now a heel, now onto the dark side. Constantly putting over how Aleister Black was trying to get redemption for himself and will try anything to get that redemption. And then the match ended with Aleister Black hitting Johnny Gargano with a super kick, and then just both standing up at the same time. Johnny Gargano dazed. Aleister Black smacks him up with the Black Mass. It looked brutal. Johnny Gargano just fell forward into Aleister Black's chest, and Aleister Black was just standing there. He then pushed Johnny Gargano away and hit him again with the second Black Mass, this time putting Gargano onto the floor. 1, 2, 3. Aleister Black has beaten Johnny Gargano. Oh, just go and watch it. That's all I have to say. Like, there's not much point reviewing NXT takeovers, because every match is just go and watch it. You have to go watch this match. This match was match of the year. 5-star match. Go and watch this match. Just every match. It's just fantastic. If you don't watch NXT, you're really missing out. If you watch NXT instead of the main roster, I would heavily suggest either cutting a main roster show out, not all of it, cutting a main roster show out to watch NXT, or try and find time to watch NXT. Whether that's just the takeovers or whether that's watching NXT every week, just find time to watch it, because with that in 205 Live, some of the best wrestling out there by an absolute mile, and NXT's got the added bonus that it can tell a fantastic story, and it's done the same here. Next up, talking about story-based matches, next up we had Tommaso Ciampa versus Velveteen Dream, or Hollywood's Dream, as he dressed up as NWO Hollywood Hulk Hogan for the match, for the NXT Championship, which is owned and will be owned by Tommaso Ciampa, as he won against Velveteen Dream in a match which had so many false finishes, and I bit every time there was a false finish. There was, going into match, I was like, there's no way Dream's winning this. Absolutely no way. Tommaso Ciampa, 100%. About 4 or 5 false finishes, and I was like, Velveteen Dream's got this. He's 100% got this. He's won the match. 1-2 for no, false finish. It was just like it was starting to get annoyingly frustrating, but at the same time, like, wow, what the hell's going on? At the same time, every time there's a false finish, it was just mental, absolutely mental. Once again, the pace was fast. It was fast. It was all action, non-stop. The ending of the match was Velveteen Dream went to drop the elbow onto the outside after Tommaso Ciampa had ripped up the outside like he usually does. So he just fell flat on his elbow after Tommaso Ciampa moved, rolled up into the ring. Project Ciampa onto Dream. Dream kicks out once again. Another finisher, another false finish, and it was just like, how are you going to win this match? Who is going to win this match? Tommaso Ciampa finally won, pinning the Velveteen Dream 1, 2, 3, and then they just both led there for about 2 or 3 minutes. It's still in the so. It was a DDT from the draped from the top from the middle rope, if I remember rightly, and then Dream kind of sat. Ciampa sat on Dream and then dragged his legs back, and he was like leant back, and they were just in those positions for about 3 minutes. It properly sold how brutal the match was. Go and watch it, for fuck's sake. Go and watch it. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it, because I wouldn't say it was as good if... Right, I don't want to like be negative about it, because it was still a fantastic and excellent match, but it wasn't as good as the previous match. But if the previous match was a 5-star match, the Aleister Black Johnny Gargano match, this was a 4.9 star match. It was just as good. Basically, there's 3 5-star matches on there in my opinion, not including the women's match. The women's match got a solid 4 stars in my opinion. But Tommaso Ciampa is still your NXT champion, and let's go on to the third 5-star match in my opinion, which was the NXT Takeover War Games match of War Games. Just mental. Absolutely mental. Undisputed era even versus Pete Dunne, Ricochet and the War Raiders. Each men's over in their own right. Each men can perform to absolutely high... Hanson, you know, the big bloke from the War Raiders, did a handstand spring back elbow like what Ricochet does. He did that easily. He's like, I think he might be bigger than me, and I can barely walk on most days, and he's doing handstand spring back elbows, and I just don't know. Go and watch the match. I can't explain this match. It was absolutely mental throughout. It lost a little bit of steam during the middle, but you didn't feel it too much, which, you know, exactly what is needed. And it was just an absolutely brilliant match. That's all I can say. It's a terrible review of the match, but what more can you say about it? It was just all action. The whole pay-per-view was just whole action, just non-stop action. Total non-stop action, you can say. But it was better than what anything TNA brought out. Impact, on the other hand, is different, but TNA, no way. Undisputed Era, I keep on saying, Undisputed Era lost after Pete Dunne and Ricochet. Pete Dunne hitting bitter end, that's it. It's late, alright? Leave it out, it's late. Hitting the bitter end onto Adam Cole, and then Ricochet, who doing his 450 splash afterwards. Both Ricochet and Pete Dunne pinned Adam Cole to secure the victory for the face team. I was certain that Undisputed Era were going to win. They didn't, and I wasn't even upset about it. It was fantastic, and the end of NXT TakeOver was both Pete Dunne and Ricochet showing respect to each other, stood at the top of War Games, both with their titles in hands, lapping up the crowd. Fantastic way to end a fantastic pay-per-view. Absolutely fantastic. And I'll say it again, and if you're not listening to me by now, why not? Go and watch it. Just go and watch it. Like, go and watch it. Go and watch it. Just go and watch it. It's like I said, Aleister Black Gargano, in my opinion, match of the year by a mile. Tommaso Ciampa, Dream. Some people, that might be match of the year. The War Games match, for some people, that might be match of the year. They were all, in people's minds, like, all contenders to be match of the year. And Survivor Series, I know we shouldn't compare the two, NXT Takeovers and Survivor Series or any other big main event, big main roster pay-per-views. But if it can even get half as good of what Takeover was, then it will be a good pay-per-view. Like, unbelievable stuff from NXT tonight, like they always do. Unbelievable stuff, just unbelievable. Go and watch it. If you haven't, just go and watch it. I don't care if you're busy at work, busy with family. Get the family to watch it as well. Just watch it. Watch it all. So to recap on the night, Matt Riddle beat Kassius Ohno in 7 seconds. Shayna Baszler retained her women's champion 2-1 against Kairi Sane in the 2 out of 3 falls match. Aleister Black finally got his redemption against Johnny Gargano by pinning him after 2 black masses, absolutely kicking Gargano's face off. Tommaso Ciampa retained the NXT Championship against Velveteen Dream in a match where they probably had the record number of false finishes that everyone bit on every time. And then last but not least, Pete Dunne, Ricochet and the War Raiders beat the Undisputed Era in War Games to end the night fantastically, in my opinion. Go and watch it. If you did like this, please leave a like. I don't know why you would. Just me saying go and watch it for 17 minutes, whatever it is. Please leave a like. Please subscribe. It means a hell of a lot to us. I will see you again tomorrow for Survivor Series. Like I said, hopefully it's half as good. If it's half as good, I'll be impressed. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.